Welcome to the introductory screencast on the topic of water resources and water pollution. There are 6 learning objectives for this module, and there will be a separate screencast for each of the learning objectives. This first screencast simply covers an overview of the learning objectives. First, students will be able to identify the types of water resources on Earth and discuss their relative abundance or scarcity. So water resources on Earth are things like lakes and streams and oceans, which you're probably pretty familiar with, and another source of water that's particularly important to us called an aquifer, which is how we on Cape Cod get our water for drinking, etc. And regarding the relative abundance or scarcity of each of these resources, there is a huge disparity. Some are abundant but not usable, and relatively usable water is relatively scarce. The second objective is for students to understand the ways that humans use water and manage water distribution. So we use water primarily for agriculture, for industry, and for household use, such as cooking, showering, etc. And humans also manage water distribution. They run it through pipes to bring into households, for example. They also build aqueducts to carry water from an above-ground water source like a lake and bring it to a very dry area, for example, in California. The third objective is to be able to describe sources of water pollution. Some of these sources of water pollution you're probably pretty familiar with, things like oil pollution, but we'll also look at some other things that you may not know much about. For example, what happens with mercury pollution and what that does to humans and to other organisms. The fourth objective is to be able to define the word wastewater and identify technologies that are used to treat wastewater. So in brief, wastewater is basically sewage and any water that has been used by humans, for example, for washing machines or showering. And in our case, it also includes manure from animals. And you'll look at the different technologies that are used to treat wastewater. Some of them are more effective than others. Fifth objective is to describe the concerns about human and animal wastewater. The sixth objective is to identify the primary water pollutants beyond wastewater, their sources, and the effects on humans. Last but not least, there will be an open response question regarding wastewater, the technologies used to treat wastewater, and the concerns about human and animal wastewater and its effect on the environment and on human health. The next section, the next screencast, will be begin with a case study and then talk about the relative abundance or scarcity of certain types of water.